I have planned so many times to come up this ski lift, and for whatever reason, whether it's because of the weather or the timings or whatever, I've never done it. Boy, was that a mistake. I've never felt so on top of the world before, ever, and it took just a little bit of effort to get to where I am at the moment. Now, I know that's not what it's all about, I know that, but as a landscape photographer, I'm more concerned about taking good pictures than I am about the hill walking, although that's going to change next year. But irrelevant, the fact is, take a look at this damn place from up here. I think if I'm this far away from the microphone, you can't hear me huffing and puffing. Hi guys, and welcome to this week's video. What a location. Just about to be greeted by a sunrise, and I'm out with this rather special fella here called Ben. You say your surname so I don't embarrass myself.
Barendrecht.
Barendrecht.
Yeah, you're close.
Let's go down one.
You're close, yeah. I'll give you a 2.
We're going to miss the sunrise at this.
Yeah, we are.
At this stage. Right, very quickly, right. The premise of this video is, well, I contacted this man because I want to do a lot more mountain climbing. So Ben very graciously, because this is what he does for a living, he's a mountain leader and he takes people to places like this. So basically, it's my way of just getting a freebie for the day. So I'm happy with that. I'll talk to you more about Ben when we get to the top, but what I am glad about is this is my very first ever Munro that I'm really excited about walking up. Is that right?
Well, it's not close to a Munro.
It's got to be very close, isn't it? I thought it was a Munro, that's why I'm here. 711 metres is my walk today.
Well, for it to be a Munro, it needs to be 9:14, so...
9:14?
You might have to pay me another day to get to the top of the Munro. So.
That's why you brought me here, so I get to come out with you for another day. Awesome. Right, so that's the premise of this video. I'm just going to get to the top and take some pictures and introduce you to this man, somebody I've followed on social media for a very, very long time, but more about him when we get up there.
Just a man fact. He just wants to come out with me so I can grab the camera every time we're finished with the B-roll. And just keeps going. I have to grab the camera.
What a view. What a view.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite views. So yeah.
Where are we going from here?
So
two choices now you gave me.
2 choices, yeah. We either go west to the 711 mountain. You can have the view over towards Glencoe. The problem with this time of the year with Glencoe is that there's no light in the glen.
You could probably see behind.
Yeah.
As I'm filming directly into the sun, which is not the cleverest of ideas.
Yeah.
But you get a feel for it.
So if you want to catch sunset light or just daylight over the whole time, then we go to that one over there, which is 614.
Okay, not because of the height difference, but because of the light is better, so we'll go that way.
Are you sure?
I'll tell you what though, I'm glad I only brought my 16 to 35mm lens.
Yes.
I'm really glad about that.
I should have warned him that this is a very telephoto area.
Lighting in my bag, I took my 70 to 200 and my 1 to 400mm lens out. Oh, I'm regretting that now. What makes it worse though is that Ben said I could borrow his camera. What camera have you got?
I got the Olympus EM1 Mark III with a 40 to 150 lens, but you have to do ×2 crop because it's a micro four thirds camera.
So I'm gonna have a go with that, am I?
Well,
I'll borrow it.
The reason why I didn't tell you to bring a telephoto lens is that I have the shots for myself here. That's the whole point. Did it?
Cheers. Fantastic. Look at that. Look at that. So you never knew that existed.
No.
That's just gorgeous, isn't it?
It's incredible. These landscapes, just some of the best landscapes in the world, I think. Been to a lot of places.
And not that much of a walk, even for somebody with my fitness level. So if anybody out there does fancy coming up and walking and feel a bit, I don't know, too embarrassed to walk up, for instance. Even I'm not that keen on going to mountain tops, especially meeting someone like Ben who does it for a living. You're always embarrassed about, I'm going to slow him down, he's going to think I'm a sloth and all the rest of it, but apart from Ben has been terrific today. It's not that difficult a climb, this particular one, so I think this is definitely within my fitness level, shall we say. But what I will say is though, when I come, not to a place like this, but landscapes in general, as a landscape photographer, a very good friend of mine says he feels a connection. He feels a connection to the earth. He's almost like a tree hugger. And I never feel like that. To me, I turn up and if the light is right, if I can get a good composition that generally includes a nice foreground and an amazing background or vice versa or both, then I'm happy with that. And I love seeing it, but I don't feel as if I have any form of connection with it. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, well, I do feel the connection to the landscape. When I'm walking these hills, the tools that we have, the cameras, they don't exist to me. Like, my eyes are the camera. They're seeing all these incredible views, the geology, the history of the mountains, and to me it speaks to me. Like, I'm gravitated towards the landscapes. It makes me feel happy. It makes me feel like I'm going into the unknown, not knowing what I'm going to go ahead. And that's the beauty about life, not knowing where you're going to go, and then you find something beautiful out of it. And that's the most rewarding thing, I think, in life. And to make that point of you not feeling the landscape as much as I do, but this tool is what you feel connected with. You're looking at the landscape through a screen that you want to capture. So this tool makes you feel the landscape in some sort of way, because you're photographing the foreground. You want to make everything look balanced, and so you're, I would say, a camera hugger.
Yeah. All right.
You know, rather
that.
than feeling the emotion towards the landscape, it's the same thing as the cameras. You love the cameras.
So you just use that purely as to document in a very nice way where you've been.
Yes, basically, yeah.
As opposed to the walk is the worst part of this. To me, the photography is the best part. Now I've managed to come this far
For
out.
me, it's the other way around. For me, the best part is seeing this, doing the walks. Doesn't matter what the weather is, if it's absolutely blowing it down with 50 miles an hour gust winds. I love these things, like feeling alive when you're out in these kind of conditions.
Yeah, well, I just want to say one thing, you're wrong. You're definitely wrong. I'm right, you're wrong.
I think I'm right, you know.
You're going over that cliff in a minute. Ben, you know that this is the first time I have ever used an Olympus camera. That's absolutely genuine. This right now is a first for me. I hope I don't get a rash as a Canon user. Nothing so far. I've got to tell you off the bat though, what camera is this? The EM1 Mark II. It's got a lovely feel to it. A lovely Mark III. That's me getting told off. It's a Mark III. It's got a lovely feel to it. A really, really nice feel. Right, so I've just been given a quick crash course on this camera, and I've got to tell you, up to press, It looks really, really impressive. Anti this, anti that. And it takes a damn fine picture. Damn. I so want it to be rubbish. I don't really. I'm not a camera snob by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just a Canon fanboy, and I've only ever used Canons. I wouldn't for 1 minute think that every other camera brand is substandard compared to Canon. Far from it. But you know, they just never get the opportunity to use any other cameras. Right, so that's a 9 or a 10 pano picture on a very lightweight tripod. Plenty of image stabilization built in, so this picture should look damn fine. Three peaks. Now, okay, joking aside, it's not a Munro, far from it. Well, 200 meters short of it. 711 meters, I think, so I'm quite happy with that as a climb this morning. 3 separate peaks, so I can't thank Ben enough. Now, I lighten my bag, as I mentioned earlier, probably just as well because the light is terrible. But this isn't the journey of photography, really. I suppose it's a bit of a journey for me to see if I've got it in me. And yeah, been a little tough, but I've enjoyed it. A little bit of huff and puff, but hey, them's the breaks. But I really love this. So what I'll do, just to register my time up here, capture that little bit of my time in history, I'll take a couple of handheld shots with my camera and my lens, and I'll also borrow Ben's camera with a long telephoto show-off lens, and I'll grab a few shots from around here as well, and then I'll have a quick chat with Ben just to introduce you guys to Ben, because he's such a nice guy. So how do you end up doing this as a job? Because we were chatting on the way up, you're from Holland,
Yeah.
so you're Dutch,
Yeah.
and you find yourself living in one of the most picturesque places, certainly in the UK,
Yeah.
some would argue around the world, and you find yourself here living, doing a job of dreams.
Yeah.
And how old are you? 27?
27 now.
How
yeah.
does that work? How did that come about?
When I was younger and I was still in Holland, I was always watching videos of other people traveling around, going around these beautiful mountains, and obviously Holland is very flat. For me,
Yeah.
I can't go for a hike. I think the highest mountain in Holland is 328 meters, which is shared with a border with Belgium and Germany. So you don't really have these sort of mountains in Holland. So when I was 18, I wanted to leave. I wanted to go travel. I wanted to go up these mountains, and the camera just came second nature. It just, as I was just hiking, I was really enjoying the landscape, as was talked about before. It was speaking to me. And then how can we capture that? And that's through the camera. The camera is a beautiful way to capture your memory.
Your emotions, your feelings. Everything's connected with photography. It's a greater thing than we all can imagine.
Yes.
We can all dust down old pictures and look at them, and straight away the emotions of how you were feeling when that picture was taken. You know, well, it's exactly the same as up here. Because even though I've probably, in my photography career, stood there right now, 5 minutes ago, and probably taken the worst picture I've ever taken as a landscape photographer. But it's a picture I'll treasure forever, because it'll just remind me of an achievement, of time with you, of seeing this fantastic view.
And what's so beautiful about Scotland is that every single mountain has a different character. The shapes, the geology is amazing. Like, we could have like jagged peaks to really rounded hills in minutes. If you look behind us, you have the Ben Barendrecht, which is very rounded, and then behind us you have these jagged peaks of Bidian, and that's what I love about Scotland. And it doesn't matter if it's going to be portfolio images wise, you have the memory that you capture.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about in these hills.
Yeah, but you don't profess to be a photographer, and yet your work is incredible.
Thank you.
I've got to tell you that to your face, because your work is incredible. But I tell you what part of what makes it incredible is, I'm not coming up here because I've seen it in a guidebook. I'm not seeing that amazing photograph, or those amazing photographs, because I've seen them in a guidebook. So what you're capturing here is something that you cannot see or capture unless you make the effort to climb and come up here.
And be out in the wildest conditions to capture these moments. Just like anywhere else in the world, if you're down below or on the top, you have to be in there to capture it. I think honeypot location should be shot, because you learn so much from it. What makes the image it is there, and you can apply that to any other area. And I think that's how I started. I went to these honeypot locations because they're incredible to shoot, and they're just there for you to take, and then from there on you just learn what you can do with it, especially in the mountain regions. It's very difficult sometimes to get a foreground with the mountain, because a lot of the times in the mountains in Scotland, or I guess anywhere around the world, is that the foreground is always messy. Like, there's just rocks and grass, and yeah, you have to simplify these scenes. And this can happen either during winter when you get a lot of snow. It can also be because of light hitting certain patches of the grass. And yeah, and that you learn that from shooting the honeypot locations. I don't think I would have been in the place where I am now if I wasn't starting there.
I agree with that. Good logic, innit?
Yeah, it's
good logic.
It makes sense. You can drive an old car and you can drive any car.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. 10 years time from now, where are you going to be? Where are you going to be when you're my age? You're not still going to be climbing mountains, are you? Are there going to be any left to climb? Or just climb them again and again?
Yeah. Well, for me, in 10 years' time, I want to be at the same moment I am now, enjoying the journey. Shooting what I see, keep revisiting old locations, and just, enjoy the memories and create new memories with different people. Like you, for example, just spend time together, and that's what is most valuable to me. So in 10 years' time, I want to be the same as I am now. I want to be happy, enjoy life as it is, and yeah. And in 50 years' time?
Okay.
That's when I'm your age.
None taken.
Then in 50 years' time, maybe. That's a hard question. Maybe tell my children about the stories. Let them see the photographs I've taken. And
yeah, but you said the mountain rescue club that you're in. You said there's a guy there that climbs mountains, and he's in his 70s.
Yeah.
So there's no limit, really, is there?
Yeah. Well, I'm not in the mountain rescue, but I know them.
Right. Okay, right.
Yeah. He's called Bob. He's over 70 years old, and he's amazing. He's an inspiration to keep going up in the hills, rescue people, and still go climbing out in the hills. And then there's a climbing wall just in Kinnochleven, and he's just out. And when I see him climb, he puts me to shame.
Age is nothing but a number nowadays.
It is.
It's a very different age. 70 when I was a kid is a very different age from 70 now.
Yeah.
It might sound a bit strange, but people are very different.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine my grandparents at the age of 70 doing anything like this. Because at the age of 50, you watch telly
Yeah.
with your pipe and you put your feet up on a puffy, and that was it,
Yeah.
for the day until it was time to go to bed.
Yeah.
Very different nowadays.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
incredible.
We have a lot more accessible things to our disposal.
Let's talk about your photography just very, very briefly.
Yeah.
Again, an amazing portfolio of work, but you
Thank
don't
you.
profess to be a photographer.
No.
Now, Murray's a bit like that, and I don't buy it, because listening to you today, you've clearly got a very good eye for composition, and you clearly know what you're doing. So why don't you just concentrate more with your camera while you're here, because you're here after all.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that, because you made all the effort to come here.
Yeah.
But for me, photography and hiking go hand in hand. So just like you go to any location, you don't always have to take the photograph. For me, it's not about the photograph. For me, it's about enjoying the hike. And then if there's a potential for photograph, then yes, I'll get the camera out and I'll be ready for that moment. So I will be ready. But for me, it's just to enjoy, and especially spend time with other people out hiking, because you get to know them more. You especially when you go camping together, you get such a good bond that I feel like you don't get anywhere else in any kind of genre. Just to spend that time together, it's amazing. And yeah,
you've definitely got that connection, haven't you? You've got that feeling.
Yeah, I have that fellowship
that we mentioned earlier on, that connection to your surroundings.
Yeah,
you've got that connection.
Yeah,
mind you, I'm not surprised looking around. It is incredible.
I think you're starting to feel it. Or the cold.
No, I might be. I am the sort of person who I well up at a Lassie film. I can't watch a Lassie film without welling up. But I've never gone into a situation like this and thought, I felt emotion.
Yeah.
But I feel that if there was a bit more of a challenge, and if we ended up higher up, like some of the places I've seen you, maybe I would feel more of a connection to it.
Yes.
So there's only one way to find out.
Yeah, it's to get beaten up by the weather.
Get beaten up by the weather and go up and see for yourself, Kerry.
It's
that's the answer.
It's just different days, isn't it? Like today, for example, it's a gorgeous day. Like this is like the calmest you see.
This
Glencoe.
is introductory weather for me.
Yeah, this is beautiful blue skies, sun. You know where to go, and these are the days where it looks more like a paradise.
There'll be some hardcore watchers now thinking, you want to try walking up there when it's peeing down with rain and snow and blizzard and
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that the beauty about the mountains is that when the weather changes, that it looks completely different. It could be the snow that makes it look completely different. Sometimes when you get the clouds clagging into the mountain, it makes certain peaks more prominent.
Yeah.
And that's when you get the really unique photographs. It's all about the weather. And on a day like this, as beautiful as it is, but you won't get that same drama.
No.
But you get the serene scenes that you experience now, where you can sit down without feeling like you have to go.
Incredible. Right, one last question, because I did say it wasn't going to be an interview, but I feel like this is an interview. What's your favourite? Do you have a favourite mountain, a favourite hike? Do you have a favourite picture?
Okay. Well, that's a very hard question.
Oh yeah, that's going to take 20 minutes.
It's gonna
keep that short.
I can show you a lot. So, for me, I have a favorite photograph. I have a favorite hike, but there's one particular moment I felt like that could be my favorite moment, which is just on the left of us. You can see Skir Moor in the distance, and I was out with a friend Luca, and we did a wild camp in the middle of winter. Deep snow, really deep snow, and we couldn't see anything as we were hiking. It was a whiteout.
And that's going to
the mountain, and we couldn't see anything, and we just had such a great time exploring. And as we reached the base of the mountain, the mist or the cloud just opened up, and I had the first review of Skir Moor, and the light came through, and it was one of those moments where you're like, in a whiteout in heaven, and then you see the first peak appear.
Oh,
Yeah.
with the light.
That was amazing, and it was like one of those moments you can't forget.
Looking for the shot. Wow. Looks like he's running into war. Into the abyss.
And then we camped over there, and then in the morning we wanted to go up Sgurr Uildre Moor for sunrise, but the snow was so deep we would have never made it. So I knew the sun would have been rising just past Sgurr Uildre Moor, and we waited. The sun was well, it wasn't rising yet, but you could see a massive gap on the horizon. So I thought there will be the sun coming through, but the cloud came from the west, and it kept coming closer and closer, and it was closing that gap, and I thought I'm never gonna reach that sun. And then the sun just made its way up, and the cloud was closing, but it was just enough for that sun to come through. And because there's a lot of moisture in the air, everything was glowing red, like really pinkish glow, and that's a moment I will never forget. What do you think of the conditions?
Amazing. I mean,
amazing.
Could not have asked for anything better. So unexpected, and not a drizzle of wind. A drizzle of wind.
Wow. Did you photograph it?
Yes, I did.
So we're back to what I said earlier. You know, there's very often a connection to a photograph, and I always tell people that come on my courses as well. You know, your favourite picture might not necessarily be a good picture. It's your favourite picture for your reasons, and like you just said then, Ben, that's your favourite picture for your reasons.
Yeah.
I've not seen the picture, so technically I don't know if it is a good picture, but it's not relevant.
No.
It's not relevant. The fact is,
yeah,
you know, and you've got it up
I have
here.
that memory.
Yeah, and the memory is connected with the picture.
Yeah.
And that's all that counts. But without seeing the picture, I already know it's going to be good because I know your work. It better not be crap now.
Yeah. I think you'll like it. I think it'd be one of those images you'd be like, it's all right.
Cool. Should we crack on?
Yeah. Let's head down.
I shouldn't do it, but I'll shake your hand already, Ben, because it's been... I know we're not finished because we've got to get back down yet. You're not going to run off and leave me, are you?
Well, I'm not sure, you know.
You better not. You better take me down.
The mountain looks quite good over there. I might go there.
Right, come on. It's been a wonderful... And I am feeling fantastic. I've not felt this good on a day out of photography in a long time. And this is just you and I meeting up and walking up a mountain. It wasn't meant to be anything more than that.
No. And that's...
But this is just, it's opened my eyes.
Yeah, it's a different world out there,
So
isn't it?
thank you for that.
Yeah, well, it was nice to meet you. And I'm sure we'll meet again at some point up the mountain.
But when you get my invitations, I'll know how much you've enjoyed today, whether I get whether I get a reply or not.
Yeah. Well, I know now your fitness to see if you can reach a Munro or not.
Yeah, he was actually saying earlier on that there's an inner athlete just waiting to get out.
Yeah.
There's just got a lot of covering around it, that's all. I got camper van breath, by the way, so I wouldn't get too close to me.
Good.
You know what it's like when we live in a camper van.
I mean, I live in the mountains, it's probably worse.
Right guys, so the premise of this vehicle is... Vehicle? That's bollocks that, isn't it?
I mean, if I knew I was going to go out with you again.
Hey. That's how it starts. I tell you what, Murray couldn't handle that walk up here today.
No.
He wouldn't have handled that walk up here today. That Murray Walker guy, Wilkie.
Wilkie's, yeah.
Said his name wrong. We'll cut that
Yeah.
out.